Man takes photo in Wales, UK. This just came up in the Cambrian News, a local Welsh paper. Apparently the man who took the photo reported he was being stalked by a creature. Not only does OP claim this was reported in the Cambrian newspaper, but they also provided a link to the Cambrian News website, which posted an article about the supposed sighting. A photo sent into Cambrian News captures a creepy creature in the woods near Aberystwyth. The picture showing a flashlight figure, dubbed a skin crawler by the Cambrian News, was submitted on the 10th of January, along with a tale of being stalked by the thing in the Coedicum woods south of Clara. The supposed victim of the stalking creature, Sam Walker, said they reported the incident to the police. No such reports can be found by the Dyfed Poes police head office. Now, we're already not off to a good start. The person who wrote this article, Debbie Luxon, just immediately gave us the most hard-hitting piece of evidence that shows us this event likely never happened. And although I can't confirm there was no report made of a skin crawler to the Dyfed Poes police, I feel it's unlikely a local newspaper would risk lying about their police, especially over something this silly. But what I can do is load the image up into a few different AI image detectors online, and 3 out of the 4 sites I used lean almost completely towards this 100% being an AI generated image. And if you look close, I think you can spot the back left leg being slimmer than the creature's arms, which themselves are just a little off. This left one looking more like another leg than an arm. I find it funny as well that this Sam Walker character says he took the image with his phone, but then you look at it and it's in this weird aspect ratio. It's not even a 1:1 aspect ratio like you see on Instagram or other places. And it's also super low quality despite this event supposedly happening in 2024. Something else funny is that if you download the image straight from the Cambrian site, Debbie renamed it on their computer as hoax email. So there's no denying that they never believed in this dude's story. Have to give it to the people in this comment section of the Reddit post. For the most part, everybody's either saying that it's AI or a naked person, with a few outliers like, looks like a creature from the forest photoshopped into another environment. Or, damn, it really sucks being stalked by these CGI. I don't know what it is with the CGI comments lately. I didn't see any of them until my last video on Urbex Hill, and now it's like every thread that I go into somebody tries to say that it's CGI. I also don't know if the first person was talking about the actual forest, like with trees and shit, you know? Or the game called The Forest. Because there are mutant enemies in that game that look somewhat similar to what we see in the photo. As of now, there's not been any more developments in this story, and I imagine this will stay the same until this Sam Walker, if that is their real name, person posts anything publicly about it. But seeing as there wasn't much attention brought to it at the time, or since, they'll probably just continue to stay quiet. Gray skin, yellow eyes. I'm a pretty avid hiker and I've never encountered anything like this before. I've seen plenty of bears, birds, snakes, etc., but this was different. I was visiting a Florida state park called Pontoon Island State Park, and you have to take a ferry over to it. At the end of the trail they have a Native American shell mound. My buddy and I got to the top of this roughly 30-foot mound, and we're looking out over the river when I turned around and saw a face staring at me from behind a log. The features were human, but not fully detailed. The lips and skin were gray, and it had these yellow eyes. Not glowing, just yellow. Looked like it was hiding there watching us. Then it just went poof, gone in a blink. It scared the absolute dog shiz out of me. I've been searching around the internet looking for similar encounters. Before I even saw it, my buddy said he felt like something in the woods was watching us. It's probably one of the most horrifying moments of my life. The way it looked at us felt like we were prey. This post was made by somebody named Intelligent-Water236. On the Crawler subreddit, it didn't gain much attention, although this wasn't where Water first posted this story. It first going on paranormal encounters, before being removed, then r/haunted, r/cryptids, r/unexplained, where it also got the most attention, r/humanoid encounters, before finally being posted to r/CrawlerSightings. Can you give as much detail as you possibly can about its face? Teardrop face, what type of skin, shape of eyes, almond, size, height, anything disproportionate about it, the movement? Can you remember any feeling inside of you? Grays are telepathic, so you could have felt an... Grays are telepathic, so you could have felt a feeling, a knowing, an image inside you that just almost feels sharp and distinct. Looked like a normal face. Eyes, lips, structure were not abnormal besides the gray color and yellow eyes. Nothing mental. Because I can't post a pic here, I made a link to what I tried to recreate. Is this what you saw? You didn't make shit, dude. What the fuck is this? You can literally see the Gemini logo on the bottom right. I'd say this is what I seen. 60% accurate. Good God. It's Wither Draco Malfoy. Holy shit. Okay, that would have left me silent for days.
Jesus, I would never enter the woods again.
That size? Yikes. Creepy AF. I think you met a small gray. An alien. One commenter brings up a channel called Scott Carpenter, 5 Nights at CrawlerSightings, who has apparently documented similar creatures. So let's check him out really quick. Now Scott has actually posted videos about a similar looking creature he has dubbed Gray Ghost Bigfoot, Gray Sasquatch, and Old Gray, going as far to say that this Bigfoot had left him a gift of wild mint the summer of 2010, and had stayed in the same location up until at least 2013 when he randomly spotted him again. Now, immediately when looking at the footage Scott captured, my first thought was pareidolia, a phenomenon I'm sure most of you are aware about, but for those who aren't, it's quite simply seeing things and inanimate objects that aren't actually there, the most common being seeing faces, i.e. electrical sockets, wood grains, and random stuff at the top of your closet when your lights are off. At the end of the video, Scott makes a refute against those who claim the sighting is just a result of this phenomenon, calling it the Critic's Corner. You think people tried to debunk it before? I don't know. Oh no, I just have a feeling about it, guys. And he says the reason it cannot be pareidolia is because the subject moves at least 3 times, the subject's right and left eye are visible, and the subject maintains its integrity, has a defined profile, despite the camera position changing multiple times during the video. What throws a wrench into all this though, despite, the obvious, is that Scott was specifically looking for this Gray Ghost Bigfoot when he returned in 2013. And although the frequency illusion isn't exactly what I'm thinking about right now, it is pretty close. Essentially, the frequency illusion is when you think of something and then start to see it everywhere more often. There's actually a game you can play with this phenomenon where when you're driving or in a vehicle of some sort, you can try to start spotting red cars. And because you're thinking about them more intently, you'll see a lot more than you think you usually do. I've been wanting to play a version of this where you go somewhere in public with a lot of people, say bald men out loud, and then they get you. That's when they get you. That's when they fucking get you. Editor me here. I actually forgot to explain what I was getting at, but whenever you're a kid and you're trying really hard not to think that there's a scary face in your closet, and then you see a scary face in your closet, that's essentially what I'm getting at here, is that Scott was trying so hard to see this Gray Ghost Bigfoot again that just any little thing that could even look like a face was Gray Ghost Bigfoot to him. But yeah, rant aside though, the only similarities between Gray Ghost Bigfoot and Azazel here is that they're both gray and have faces. So, People in r/unexplained though ate this shit up. All the comments I read before are from there, and I couldn't find anybody that wasn't taking it seriously, aside from someone saying, "Oh, that's just Greg," which is ultimately the only joke any of these cryptid subreddits have. I see like 5 of these comments every post I look into. Intelligent Water hasn't posted since they responded to a comment asking where in Florida they spotted this creature. But it was only 2 months ago, so there's still hope they might try and follow up in the future. Or maybe Yellow Eyes got them. Maybe they're just dead. Maybe I'm joking about a dead person right now. Fuck. For our last tale from CrawlerSightings for today, I'd like to show you a more recent development. User AllKingsMustDie113 made a post 19 days ago, as of me writing this, titled, "My Encounter with a Cryptid, the Sunflower Deer." Cryptid of their own design, describing it as almost looking like a deer, but with elongated limbs and a disproportionately small head with a mane of black hair, reminding OP of a sunflower. I don't believe in the paranormal. I've never believed in anything, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, or aliens or anything associated with things like that. All that changed last year, when I felt the terror I never thought possible. It was last April, 2025, and my contract with the Navy had literally just finished. I was officially a free man. When I moved back to Louisiana, my best friend asked to come look over at his new land he just bought, and I agreed. Bought about 65 acres out of a 120-acre parcel. The plan was to split up, camp out for 2 days exploring as much as we could to ensure there was no hidden structures, homeless people camping out, dead bodies, things like that, you know. So we split up and made our way out. First night, nothing happened at all. It's actually extremely boring, to be honest. Set up camp, made a fire, ate some food, canned beans, and went to sleep. When I woke up, there were some tracks just outside my camp that weren't there the night before. But I kind of just figured it was a coyote, a hog, or something. Very well known to be a deep sleeper. You have to be to sleep on an aircraft carrier. So I just brushed it off and went on with the day. The entire time I was surveying the land, felt like someone was watching me. First I thought it was Jordan, my best friend and owner of the land, trying to make sure I was actually doing what I was supposed to be doing. But later in the evening, I found a small creek and stopped to take a break and cool off in it. Every time I put my head underwater, I knew something was watching me, and it definitely wasn't Jordan. Again, I just tried to brush it off. I've dealt with anxiety, panic attacks for the last couple years due to something that happened in the Navy, so I just figured I was being paranoid again. When the sun was starting to go down, me and Jordan met back up to discuss everything we've seen. He told me he found the foundation of some old shack, and I told him about the creek. I asked him if he had some weird feeling about being watched, and to my surprise, he said he did as well. It was never said out loud, but we both sort of just silently agreed that we were not going to sleep at the same time. I told Jordan that I'd stay up, which he seemed relieved at that. I don't think he slept at all that night before. I was sitting on a rock with a flashlight, a Henry 3030 lever action, an American Tactical 45 ACP. As I've mentioned before, I was in the military, but I wasn't special forces or anything like that. I was in IT that worked with radios and frequencies. But I was a redneck Cajun that grew up around guns my entire life. So I was no expert, but I definitely knew what to do. The first hour went by and nothing out of the ordinary happened. A twig snapped here, or a squirrel scurried across a branch, but that was it. That was until I heard a weird banging noise. It's like a lighter version of 2 bucks knocking their racks together. At first it started, then a minute later, then 30 seconds, and soon enough, it was constant and getting louder and louder. I was starting to panic a bit, so I fired once in that direction, not trying to hit it, but scare whatever it was off and wake up Jordan, to which both worked. Jordan was awake and the noise stopped. He grabbed his gun and aimed it in the direction I shot, and was currently aimed. Then the noise started back up again, but so much louder. It was legitimately deafening, and Jordan dropped his gun and fell to the ground covering his ears. I was barely holding on, and only because of hearing loss. I kicked out a big light and I saw it. Genuinely have no idea how to describe this thing, but I'll try my best to. It had a body like a deer, but all of its proportions were elongated and longer than they should have been. It was either whitish/brown skin or fur. I couldn't really tell. Now for the part that's terrified my dreams since that night. Its face. It had normal buck antlers, but its head was extremely improportional to its body. It was extremely smaller and circular, bulging eyes and a ring of black hair that went around its entire head, reminding me of a sunflower. It was by far the most terrifying thing I've ever seen/heard. Maybe one day I can get an artist to draw it better than I can describe it. I remember thinking, I'm gonna die here, so I fired my rifle at it and hit it. And it was obviously hurt by the noises it made, so I kept firing until I was empty and started to run off. I switched to my pistol and just kept firing. After we heard it cry of pain pretty far away, Jordan and I left everything in the woods and ran to our trucks. By the time we got back, we were exhausted, terrified, and utterly shaken to our cores. We tried to explain how it looked to our friends and family, and my brother, Bose, called it the sunflower deer, which he made up on the spot. Has anyone ever seen this before? It's been a year, and I don't go into the woods anymore. The day after OP posted their story, they followed it up with an AI image of what they saw. Not generated by themselves, but by someone who messaged them. 3 people pointed out the similarities between the shit-ass AI rendition of the sunflower deer and Modair from the 2017 film The Ritual. And yeah, they are extremely similar when it comes to their bodies, the main differences being in their faces. There's also one commenter, Ashleton, who said it might be a nature spirit or entity, and asked if anything had happened since the encounter, though P saying nothing aside from new health issues. Where then Ash implies the sunflower deer might be the cause of these health issues, even asking how Opie's friend was doing. Jordan seems to be doing okay, but we never really talk about our personal lives, though he is much more interested in finding the sunflower deer than I am.
I ask that you ask him to try to not shoot it. It's understandable to shoot when you feel like you're in danger, but it's possible that this kind of entity is peaceful. Spirits and boogans can look fucking terrifying, but their appearance doesn't necessarily match their intentions or personalities. And, a heads up, if they're anything like crawlers, they'll know to avoid trail cams. You should still put some up, but crawlers are able to sense infrared and will avoid them. So it's possible the sunflower deer / not deer might as well.
Crawlers are able to sense infrared and will avoid them. This is new knowledge. What's crazy is that although I can't speak about whether or not a crawler can sense infrared light emitted from a camera, there are 3 groups of snakes that have evolved to sense infrared thermal radiation through what is called their pit organ, which not only helps them capture prey better, but also helps in thermal regulation and predator detection. There's also many fish, insects, and one species of bat named vampire bats that can also see this infrared thermal radiation. Cool stuff. This stuff is also a little confusing to me, so sorry if I got anything wrong. Don't kill me, please. Please. Last comment I want to take a look at is one that brings up something called chronic waste disease, which you might have inadvertently heard in 2025 because of tabloids doing what they usually do and trying to incite fear and panic within people to get more clicks by calling it zombie deer disease. It's been around since 1967, don't comment about that, and the symptoms include weight loss, tremors, and loss of fear of humans, among other things. It's classified as a TSE, or transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. Yeah. Which themselves have their own set of scary symptoms that can also affect humans, and are incurable, although very rare. And this is kind of what those articles from 2025 were banking off of. The fact that even though we've never seen a leap of CWD or similar diseases into humans, we can never truly know if that's going to happen or not because of the unpredictability of these diseases. Note again, I'm not an expert on any of this. These are from DuckDuckGo searches and Wikipedia, so don't try and fucking keep it, please. I'm sorry. But if you take a look at deer infected with CWD, their bodies are somewhat similar to what OP described, aside from the mane of black hair, which I don't have an explanation for if this story is true. I'm kind of torn about it because on the one hand, it falls in line with just an incredibly sick deer, being this comment about it charging at OP falling in line with the CWD symptom of loss of fear of humans. On the other hand, it's Reddit, and they posted about a never-before-seen cryptid and even gave it its own name. Or well, their brother did. Playing it safe though, I'ma say, I need to go to bed. So, that's the end of this video. I know my last 2 videos have been decently different than my past post, so I hope y'all enjoy this return to form, so to speak. I got the idea while reading the encounter OP was talking about to maybe use my second channel, Red Face Paint, for reading complete stories from these subreddits that I can't fit into these videos for one reason or another. I think it'd be really fun, and it gives y'all an even closer look into these very unique subreddits. So, look out for that. I'll probably post about it on my community tab, and Twitter, and Blue Sky, and everything when it happens. So, yeah. Hope y'all have a great day, and don't let the stickman bite.
Oh.